Hello, this video is for our sister training sites. This is Steve with Last Minute Training. We're just going to go over this real quick. I want to talk to you guys about how to align instructors with your training site. And I guess this would also be for training centers, but we're going to look at it from the perspective of a training site as training site coordinators. So just real quick, what actually changed with the instructor network, where as of the 6th of June 2023, they did a major overhaul of the instructor network, which is now known as Atlas. And Atlas is the main hub for everything that you really need to do to, manage your training site. And there have been some changes to the functionality as far as how it establishes that relationship between training instructors and their associated training sites, which is good news for us because our goal has been to alleviate some of the strain off of the central training center and place some of those administrative functions on the training site. And it looks like they are following in line with that exact plan on the AHA side. So this is something where I personally have had to, use a lot of patience with because it is a pretty drastic change. I wish there was better communication throughout the process with it, but here we are. So we're just going to make best of what we got and move forward. So you can actually see here I am logged into Atlas, which is the same URL, but you can actually save the one, which is atlas.heart.org, if you want to, make a bookmark there. And I'm on my main dashboard here. So what I want to do is align some instructors with my training site. So now the training site itself, the instructors have to be aligned with each training site or invited or request to join that training site, and they have to have disciplines. Now, the American Heart Association establishes disciplines on each instructor, which is what they can teach based on what instructor cards they have, right? So they have to have a current instructor card in the AHA database as in sent to them with, and they log the expiration dates and all of that. And that's how they determine whether someone can be aligned or not. They have to have a current instructor card, right? So, not going to go over a whole lot of this. I'm only going to live underneath this drop down here, training center. And you can see we have training site, which is mine for last minute training, admins, faculty, instructors, primary alignments, classes. We're going to go over a lot of those in different videos, but you can actually see here we have admins, not going to worry about that right now. Faculty, one thing is training center. Our training center did go through and assign all of us as faculty members. You can think of faculty as being the people with the ability within a training site to teach those instructor courses so they can teach and modify things related to the actual instructors themselves, so they can teach instructor renewals, put in instructor renewals, and teach those initial instructor classes and enter that information and send cards out to them as well. So if you are an admin as the top person at your training site, you want to make sure that you are not only aligned with your own training site as an instructor, also as faculty and as an admin. So we have all three of these. I do, because you can think of it like layers of an onion. I need to be able to teach classes. I also need to be able to align and teach instructors. And I also need to be able to do those administrative functions like modifying the profile for last minute training, and doing the connectivity things with the main training center. So I might go into those a little bit more advanced videos later on. We're going to live now that we have faculty, reach out to the training um, center and make sure if for some reason you get an error somewhere along the line says that you're not training center faculty or someone doesn't show up, and I'll show you where that might occur. Make sure that you are training site faculty. So all of you should be. But if you get someone new that you want to do those functions, they'll have to be added as faculty for a training site. Now, let's then align some instructors here. So back to instructors. All right, so this is basically our management window for our instructors. I don't really want to go down my list right now, but I have, a pretty good chunk of instructors already aligned, and then we have some that are pending alignment right here, right? So I'm going to add a new instructor. So what I'm going to do is align here. Okay. And then I'm going to have this window pop up, align as an instructor, extend an invitation to align on one or more disciplines last minute training. Okay, so I'm putting my instructor number. We're going to see what comes up. There you go, already aligned. And I'm also a heart saver. So you can see that everything here is functional. Disciplines, ready to go for BLS, adding them for heart saver. I should already have it, right? So I'm going to go ahead and add myself as a heart saver instructor as well, which I don't know if I actually have that yet, but let's just see what happens because it already has the BLS in there. So let's go ahead and click invite instructor. Okay. So there it goes. I get a nice green window. A little bit of thinking going on here. Let it do its thinking. You can see now over here, I have a pending alignment to Stephen Featherston for the discipline of heart saver, right? I need to go in and accept that. So when your instructors log in, they'll go to their dashboard and then they should have a task to complete. Anyway, it's for me, I think it might not come through right away. I don't want to waste your time, but right here under tasks to complete, that is where a little box will show up and it says you have a pending alignment. And I think I might already have it. So it's like this guy's already a BLS instructor, but right here it'll pop up and it'll say the training site blank 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 has said that they want to align you as a BLS or a Heart Saver instructor. All they have to do is just click align or accept or just go through the prompts on that task, and then they're going to show up as in your current list. Now, that's how everything goes if it all works according to plan. They are then aligned with the discipline, current card, right? You can send them cards, and there's a couple options there. So going back to Training Center, I go back to these instructors. Oh, actually, I just saw those things finally pop up. Did they pop up? I saw something load. No such luck. Okay, I was hoping to be able to show you guys that. So going back to instructors, now, sometimes we'll align an instructor and it gives us an error, right? It'll either say not found, or it might say the aligned instructor does not have the disciplines that you are requesting to align them as, or they have no available disciplines. Now, this is an error that occurred during the migration of data from the old instructor network to the new one, Atlas. That basically, if they didn't have a current instructor card inside of the American Heart Association, that their profile was basically nullified. So I don't think it's flat out deleted because they still can log in and everything like that, but they can't align with any training sites or training centers until they are added in as a initial instructor. So what we have to do then is send. We might have a renewal for them, but for some reason, maybe they didn't claim their card, or for some other reason, the renewal's good on our paperwork side, but it didn't make it into the Atlas, the new, uh, database for the Atlas network. So we're going to do a little fix, and then I'm going to talk about in the next video, and that is we're going to make an initial instructor class on the date of their renewal, right? And then that will get them a current instructor card, which then can allow them to be pulled in with a discipline. So I'm going to do another video, and what it is it's just going to talk about the initial instructor class, and you're just going to do an initial instructor class for the date of the renewal. So all the dates will be on that date of the renewal, and I'll talk a little bit more about that too. It's important to annotate on their renewal paperwork that was put into the instructor network or Atlas as an initial instructor class. The reason why I say that is because if an audit occurs, then there might be a mismatch in, oh, they only have renewal paperwork in their file, but they had an initial instructor class on that date according to the data on the American Heart Association site. So that kind of inconsistency, whenever there's anything like that, because we had to use a workaround, we need to make sure we annotate that on the official paperwork anyway. So the other one is basically instructors that you just can't find. So I use a mismatch of two things. So when we align instructors, we can use either their email address or their instructor ID. So I have their instructor ID off of their initial instructor paperwork or any rosters that they might have submitted to last minute training. So I can use their instructor ID to try to find them. I can use their email address to try to find them. So using a mixture of both, I've been able to align about 90% of my instructors. Then there are those that I have to hunt down. I've had to reach out to them and say, hey, what email are you using to log into the instructor network? And that's the email that I need to use to pull them in. A lot of folks don't use, some folks don't use the same email that they talk to you on a day-to-day basis and the one that they log into the instructor network. So it's important to differentiate those and invite them based on the email that they're using. Likely, sometimes they'll have that one email address, might have an instructor account that is present. Maybe they used one a long time ago and some mismatch happened, and then they've been using a new one with a different email address the whole time. So you might actually find one with that old email address. My purpose of what I'm saying here is just make sure that you're staying in contact with your instructors and have good communication lines there, and it'll help you troubleshoot some of those problems. Another bit of good news is once this is all set up, I think it's going to make it a lot easier for us to manage our instructors and keep track on them. As we move through things, it's vitally important that we fill out those. We have that it's those instructor um, database that we keep that we actually share with the training center, the active instructor list, and make sure that the dates on those are up to date and the active instructors are up to date. And having that data available is going to be very handy at helping instructors stay current because if they expire, if they go past their expiration date, then they have to go through an entire initial instructor class and it's going to be blocked into that dynamic by the American Heart Association's Atlas network. So even if they're one day over, you're going to have to put them through an entire initial instructor class. So we have to keep track of those expiration dates. It's incredibly important. Okay. Otherwise, there's going to be a whole lot of mess on the tail end. So I'm going to have another video for instructor renewals, how to process those. And we're also going to talk another video of how to do that initial instructor course and how to work through that. Okay, so thanks for listening. This is Steve, Last Minute Training. Have a wonderful day.